Hey, YouTube.
What's up, YouTube? In this episode of Cryptic Creations, I'm going to be making a comic book style vigilante mask. The first step to any plan is to get a good plan. So, as per usual, the first step of the plan is to come up with a good plan. Coming up with a good plan looks something like doing a lot of research about the processes and the materials and writing everything down. And then when you have a little bit of an idea of what the construction process looks like, that's when you want to end up going in and making a good concept. So since I've already got a pretty good idea of what I'm going to end up doing to make this thing, I'm just going to jump right into making the concept. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a picture of my front profile and my side profile. Then I take those pictures and I put them into my art program, which I'm using Clip Studio, but you could use Krita, which is free. Yeah, so once we get those pictures pulled into our software, basically we're going to turn down the opacity on them and then do a little bit of artwork over them. Doing this makes it really easy to get a concept done. I mean, it's not that great of a concept, but it doesn't need to be, you know? It's going to go through so many more steps of the process that it doesn't matter what it looks like now. And I also have quite a few concepts already for this character. Previously, I was drawing this character gray and black, and I started drawing this character recently as white and gray. But these are the materials I have. As you can see, they're gray and black, so this is what I'm going to work with. Personally, I don't think the colors really matter as much as the design does. At the end of the day, you know, it's my character, so now that we have a concept, we can move on to the next step. All right, so step number 2. This will be shadow casting. So basically, when you're making a piece of clothing, you want to get the dimensions of whatever you're making the piece of clothing for. In the biz, the talented artists use what is called drafting, pattern drafting. I don't really know how this works, and one day, hopefully I will, but for now, we're going to use this method. All right, so before we get into it, I got to give a little bit of a disclaimer because this isn't the safest method in the world. If you're a child or, you know, not the brightest, you should probably get an adult. And if you're an adult and not the brightest, get a friend. Especially if you're going to shadow cast your head, like I am going to do right now. Very carefully. Very, very carefully. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to do, but be safe about it, please. All right, so basically, you take whatever it is you're casting, and you wrap it in saran wrap, and then on top of that saran wrap, you put layers of clear duct tape. And then when you're done getting a full cast of the model, you cut the casting off. I'm going to stuff it and put it on my modeling base to start working out a pattern. If you can, do this with a friend. It gets hot in there. You gotta stay hydrated, get enough air. I'm just good at this shit. All right, we're gonna put this on our modeling stand to make it the rest of the way up into a cast. Okay, so now that we have our cast stuffed and on our modeling stand, we are going to shadow cast this model here, and that will give us the material we need to be able to start working out a pattern. All right, he's shadow casted up. We use masking tape for this process, so that way we can mark on it, and it conforms a little better to the model, I think. But yeah, that's going to be the next step. The next step is going to be cover it in markings and plan for a pattern. Well, I'm starting to think that this is going to be one of those trust the process moments, because I don't feel like retracing this pattern that many times. I think it'll be okay. I think it'll work out. Let me show you guys what I got going. I laid my pattern out, and then I chose the parts that I wanted from the pattern. I ended up picking the biggest parts from both of the sides, and I'm just going to symmetrize it, just reflect one side for the other side. And I think this will give it a cleaner look and make the pattern a little bit easier. But yeah, and then I quartered those up. And I ended up tracing my pattern over a piece of paper. It was actually wrapping paper. And then I taped that paper down onto the fabric with some clear tape. I figured this would make it a lot easier to cut, but I didn't have any pins, so this is how I pinned it. But yeah, I did add quite a bit of rigidity to the fabric, making it a little easier to cut the shape out. All right, so I spent pretty much an entire day trying to get my sewing machine to work, or I guess my girlfriend's old sewing machine to work, and it was to no avail, as to which I learned that you need needles specifically for stretchy fabric, and you also need thread for stretchy fabric. So I tried to sew on some regular material that I knew worked with the sewing machine before, and it didn't work. So I ended up impulse buying a new sewing machine. Yeah, so basically I bought a new sewing machine. It's gonna be my workhorse for the rest of my life. I'm gonna put this puppy to work, okay? So it's not just an impulse buy, this is an investment in my commitment to this hobby. And I'm freaking excited about it, and this is just the beginning. Taking this seriously, this fabrication, this craftsmanship. I'm excited. We're gonna set this up and we're gonna practice sewing a little bit, and then we're gonna get all of our stuff, our needles, our thread, our pattern, and we're gonna make our freaking mask. And I think, honestly, I think next month, I think I'm gonna try and pull off a cosplay. I'm gonna try and make a cosplay. I wanna make more clothes. Sounds like a lot of fun. Another day, and we are back at it, back at the crafting. All right, so I'm gonna work on my mask today. After a really long time of fiddling with this machine, reading the user manual, I got myself a scrap piece of fabric here, and I sewed that together. Looks pretty good. And so I think I'm gonna cut out some other parts of the pattern and practice my sewing on things like the top of the head and the back of the head. Screw it. Screw it. It's been a minute, big minutes. I got a little carried away with how much I streamed it, and before I was just recording it and then editing it into the YouTube video and had a pretty good workflow. But now there's entirely way too much footage for me to edit. So I'm just going to throw in some clips of like the crucial parts of the process. But really, I just took that pattern you guys saw and I cut it out of all the pieces of fabric and I just stitched it together. You know, I had to make sure I was using the right stitch, the right thread, the right needles, and I also, but yeah, I just cut it out. Yeah, I just cut it out and threw it together. It was very time consuming, but not very hard. And that is where I'm at now. I'm still trying to finish it up. I'm going to finish it up and I'm going to come back and I'm going to sign the F off this video because I'm trying to move on to my next project. Trying to make an alarm clock. I need to move on to a new project because it's been too long on this project. And also, yeah. Okay, so yes, it's done. Finally, you know, immediately I'm just thinking of all the ways that I could have improved it, made it better, but also I was intentionally going for a kind of rougher look and design because this will get redesigned and remade eventually after, you know, some other creations. But yeah, I'm going to add in a bunch of just what, you know, just all the stuff. Did I seriously just eat it again right away? Oh, so scared for a second. Just edit in the stuff. Edit in all the stuff. Just edit it all in. Yeah, okay, yep, that's the video. Follow me on Twitch. Salutations, safe travels. Remember, stay strong and stay weird out there, everybody. Peace out. Subscribe to the YouTube as well. Watch out for those future videos, y'all. Don't know if every single one of them is going to be featuring this mask here. Probably not, but, you know, it was fun making. I like having it. Cool. Thanks for watching. Bye.